Hey, what's going on, guys? All in channel, Jose Forever here. I just wanted to do a kind of quick video, giving my opinions on the Embracer Group, or at least sharing my thoughts and giving my opinions on Square Enix selling their IPs to the Embracer Group. And yeah, I'm sorry, I know it's been forever since I did a video. I kind of wanted to do it in a different format, but for some reason, the game bar that I normally use is not working, so I'm not able to put up some of the stuff that I wanted to. So I'm just going to do a live stream, just really quickly. Not going to stay on too long. Um, but yeah, I mean that was a pretty big story that hit last week. Hat tip to the usual suspects. He bought the world's most powerful gamer, unlimited production, the Exile crew that kind of touched on this in their podcast, and definitely Unlimited who did a video and had he bought and they discussed it a little bit as well. I was listening to their stream and it was actually really good. But I still keep up with a lot of this stuff. I know I'm not on YouTube as much, man. It's just busy with a lot of other stuff. Got a lot of things going on, as well as there's people in the Xbox community who are doing streams and stuff like that, and people that I feel that you guys should follow, like the Exile guys and stuff. So there's no sense in doing videos unless I feel like I really want to talk about something. There's a couple things I really want to talk about. This being one, but it's no point in rehashing certain things. But this was interesting to me. Of course, as Xbox guys, man, we know what's going on with Game Pass. I've made my opinions on Game Pass known ad nauseum on my channel with the videos that I've done. I mean, to me, as far as Xbox is concerned, that's the next best thing, or that's the new great thing that they have going on. If you guys haven't watched the documentary on Power On, which talks about Xbox and their history, I recommend that you watch it. I've recommended it several times. I'll recommend it again because if you watch that documentary, it actually gives a good history and a good timeline of how Xbox came into being. And I know some of you guys that are on Team Xbox now are coming over to Team Xbox that don't know the history. For me, watching the video, I said this before, I'll say it again. For me, watching that documentary, watching the videos, was just like visiting, revisiting. It was nostalgia pretty much because I don't have to watch the documentary. I actually lived most of that, and it was good memories, man. It reminded me of how much into gaming I was, not just as a Sega fan, but just as a gamer in general. Because with Xbox, it wasn't my console of choice initially. In fact, Xbox didn't become my console of choice until 2013, and so being like 2 decades removed from that. But it's definitely something I think you guys should watch. So you can again get a perspective of the highs and lows that Microsoft had, but definitely the highs. And in the history of Microsoft, there's been things that they've done that a lot of people Red Ring of Death. The first thing that comes to mind, right? You hear people talk about that all the time. But they never really get credit for a lot of the stuff that they did that was industry changing. And the reason why I bring that up is because with Game Pass, this is an industry changer. So if you guys weren't around for Xbox Live, or you guys didn't know what it was to communicate with people on a headphone using a console, or you guys don't know what it meant to actually be able to play a game like Halo using a controller. And one of the reasons I got into shooters was because of Xbox, because I didn't play on PC. I had a lot of geeky PC friends that played on PC. I was not one of them. I used to play Doom with my friends back in. These guys worked in the IT center where I was working at the time, and that's all they would do is play. They would play Doom on their computers. And I played it one time, and I just wasn't feeling it, man. It just wasn't my style, and I just like having the controller in my hand. Of course, my taste back in the day is more towards platforms, sports games, and fighting games. And then I spent a lot of time in arcades. Um, but for home consoles, that was the main thing that I would play. That's why I'm such a big Sega fan, because of Sonic. Um, yeah, but that just wasn't a thing. So when Xbox came around and they did the controller, they were able to put a shooter on a console, and then people used the controller, and it became second nature. That was an industry changer, man. The stuff they did with the internet, with Xbox Live, all of that stuff. And I don't think they get enough credit for that. They changed the industry to put those. And when I mean changed the industry, I mean this is visionary stuff. And the reason I say it's visionary is because it's affected the industry to this day. In fact, you wouldn't have a lot. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You wouldn't have a lot of the things you have now if it wasn't for things that Xbox has done. So And the reason I'm throwing that out there is because, again, I think Game Pass is something they've come up with. Whether you guys want to, whether people want to credit them or not. Some people I hear say that it's, that it was a genius idea and stuff like that, which I think it is. Other people say that it was created because they had no other choice because of the narrative, no games. I don't agree that negatively with it, but I think it had a part in it, most definitely. A lot of the stuff a lot of the hate that they got helped build the system that you have now. And the reason why I don't put too much emphasis on the negative aspect of it is because, like I said, if you watch those documentary in Xbox history, there's always been highs and lows. And right now we're on the cusp of one of the highs. And so again, what does this have to do with Game Pass? Well, as you guys know, Square Enix had sold several of their IPs, mostly on the Western side, right? To this conglomerate called Embracer Group. Now, I'm not going to go on a deep dive with Embracer Group because I haven't had the chance to really look at everything. But I did a brief trip down the rabbit hole, and man, that rabbit hole runs deep. I was actually surprised with some of the stuff that I found out about Embracer Group because it's the ideas that I have or what they are and how they function was totally not what they are, which is why I never really talked about them because I really didn't know. And like I said, I'm just doing this briefly for this video that I'm doing right now, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But I would say this, man, I can see why Square Enix would sell to Embracer Group. Um, what I thought they were was just a conglomerate of a lot of big business suits and investors, just coming in and buying up properties to turn it over and make money. Now, I'm not saying they don't do that, right? But after looking a little bit more closely at the board of directors, the founder, and stuff like that, the founder is a guy by the name of Lars Wingefirst. I believe it's worth like 1.7 billion. I don't know if that's in euros or dollars or how that. If it's in euros, I don't know how it converts to dollars. But yeah, don't sleep on these guys, man. These guys have pedigree. And then when you look at the overall uh, company as a whole and what they represent and how they run their business and who their investments are, um, I can see why Microsoft is doing what they're doing, man. I mean, these guys. Every one thing if they were like an evil empire coming in trying to change the gaming landscape. If they were, I actually wouldn't worry about them too much because those people tend to bottom out, right? If they're coming into something like gaming as a corporation, not understanding how gamers are, not understanding how gaming actually works, I wouldn't consider them much of a threat because everything they're doing is just throwing money at it. That tends to, like I said, that tends to bottom out, and then like anything else, they'll sell off and they'll leave. Think of what's happening with Disney right now, right? Um, but if you have a little bit of background, that's why I say that pedigree in gaming, or you come from a gaming background, or you understand how the business works. It's not just about making money, right? It's actually about sustaining the companies that you're actually buying. You want to make money on them, but you also believe in the product that they have. Things like that. It's basically what Microsoft is doing right now with Activision is the best example I can give you, right? One of the reasons why you see so many people that are positive, at least the people that really matter, like the gamers, the company itself, the people that work there, um, not so much the politicians. Anytime a politician opens his mouth, you just don't take them seriously, especially when it's something that's out of their wheelhouse, which is a lot of stuff, right? For politicians, right? They talk about a lot of stuff that they don't know about, and gaming is one. But what you can look at when you're seeing the deal with Activision, whether it goes through or not goes through or whatever. Everybody's it's a net plus, right? Especially on the Microsoft side. Again, you can have your reservations. I'm not saying you can't. I have my reservations on a couple things, though. They're ultimately, I think the sale of Activision to Microsoft would be beneficial to everybody, especially for me as an Xbox guy, because again, Game Pass, right? But that's the best thing I can say when I'm looking at Embracer Group. They're they're a conglomerate of different. How can I put this? I want to put this succinctly because I don't want to misspeak on them, but they have a lot of stuff. They have a lot of properties, and I'm not just talking about gaming. I was shocked to find out that they actually are in Dark Horse. And growing up in the '90s, like I was a huge comic book fan. I mean, I've been a huge comic book fan my whole life, but in the '90s, man, Dark Horse And they continue to be a force in the comic book industry. But I just remember a lot of the stuff that I used to read back then. I mean, when I used to step away from Marvel, it would either be Dark Horse, just an Image. IDW had some stuff too. Anyway, I'm getting off track, but yeah, they're not just about buying developers just to turn a buck, right? I mean, these guys are actually, like I said, they do what Microsoft does. They're coming in. In the case of Dark Horse, I saw that they kept the same person in charge to manage that holding, and then what they do is they just build on top of that. So if you take a look, like I said, I want to do a deep dive in this because I'll just get off track because it was I was going down that rabbit hole, and I just wanted to do this video, so I had to kind of stop myself. But there's a lot of stuff that they own that you might not know that they own, but you know their properties. And then when you look at the properties that they have and that they own, and I'm pretty sure you guys have played some of the games, and I know every time I looked across that list, I'm like, yeah, I actually like this stuff. Um, so again, to me, like a lot of people are looking at them as a threat from a different, all kind of different perspective. I don't know monetarily. I see people talk about them monetarily. I mean, they have a lot of financial backing and stuff like that. I just don't know how like comparatively to somebody like Microsoft, right? I don't know how they would match up because I can't really tell financially. Um, but I can tell you that they definitely know what they're doing. Like I said, I would have preferred if I would consider them a threat, which I don't really, and I'll explain why. And I'll give a couple points of what I think, my opinions and everything like that. But they're definitely somebody to keep an eye on, and that's because I think they do the way they conduct business, they do it the right way. And I've talked about this on social media. I know some of you guys don't follow me on social media. It's probably better that you don't because of my politics and stuff like that. But when I look from a business perspective, I actually like companies being companies. I like them to be greedy. I like them to look at bottom lines and dollar amounts and stock, you know, all of that stuff, the investment and all that kind of stuff. Because to me, that at least keeps them honest. Sure, they can be greedy, it can go bad. These guys are big corporations and stuff like that, but that's the devil I know, right? And I'd rather deal with that than a lot of the stuff that's going on with these corporations. So yeah, I mean, there's this is a company. I mean, I'm definitely going to do my research on them, and I might actually do a video talking about them specifically, because I was really surprised, almost pleasantly surprised. But yeah, they are definitely um, someone that Microsoft should keep an eye on. Now, I don't really consider them a threat. There's a possibility that they could be, but one of the reasons why I don't consider them like a threat is because the way that they treat their properties, is basically like a third-party publisher. And from everything that I've seen, at least in the guys, the limited research that I've done, a lot of their games will go third-party. They're a true third-party developer, so multiple consoles and stuff like that, which can come up with their own hangups and stuff like that, right? I mean, and I'm not trying to say, look, I'm like any other Xbox guy. I would, especially in the when it comes to Tomb Raider, I would have loved for Microsoft to pick up Dos Ex, and especially Tomb Raider, definitely Tomb Raider, especially what they did with the previous Tomb Raider and how they helped Crystal Dynamics and everything like that, right? So I think it would have been cool if Microsoft at least picked that up and take it to the next level, which I know that they can, which they're working on with their first party stuff. We'll get a better idea when Starfield launches, of course, this year, to see how much of that is truly next generation. I expect it to be, I'm trying to keep my expectations at a minimum, but I definitely expect it to be game changing, right? I mean, to take full advantage of the Series X, to push forward, to push gaming in a whole new direction. I guess it's the same way that where people wonder why Forza Horizon 5 hit so hard, because there was some game changing graphics, game changing tech. Um, when people got their hands on that game, that I think that's what I'm expecting moving forward on all Xbox One studio games. At least their AAA stuff, man. Not so much their AA stuff. Um, and so when it comes to not controlling the IP and then having to work with people like Embracer Group, who owns the IP now with Tomb Raider and basically Crystal Dynamics, you can have issues with that. They don't take full advantage of the system hardware. I mean, Microsoft could have done a lot of other things because it's within its own ecosystem and stuff like that. But, Microsoft has a good relationship with Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics will continue to work on Perfect Dark. And again, from all intent and purposes, what I see with Embracer Group is that they're going to put the games first and make sure, like they want their sales, right? They want all of this stuff. Um, and that'll be first and foremost, which I think is very important. Another thing I'm looking at is also, and again, I'll go back to this, and I know people get tired with me saying this on social media. I don't know how many people watch my videos and stuff like that. It's not a lot, but I'm pretty sure people that do watch my videos regularly understand that I'm a Game Pass proponent. I push Game Pass every single chance I get, and I'm going to do it again here because Game Pass, like I said, it's an industry changer, right? And so there's going to be other people that are going to want to do Game Pass, or they won't be able to ignore it. Right? And as you can see what Sony's doing, I don't think Sony's going to be able to do it on the level that Microsoft is doing it. Right? Microsoft is really pushing forward. They have the money, of course. They're a big company, and I'm talking about Microsoft proper, not just Xbox. Um, though Xbox has done a great job setting themselves up for this, and especially all hail Phil Spencer that leads the man. Um, but I just we need Game Pass to be bulletproof. And I'll say it. I said it before. I'll say it again. And what I mean by that is, right now a good starting point. We're at 25 million. That's not bad. I was hoping it'd be higher, but we need to get at least to 50 million soon, and then eventually get to 100 million. And then from once you hit that level, in my opinion, you hit that 100 million level subscriber count is what I'm talking about. Um, Game Pass will be bulletproof, right? So it'll give Xbox a definite advantage, not just in the console war stuff. I mean, the console war is the console war, right? I mean, it's never going to go away. People are going to fight it, but the console war will always be there. But everything around it is changing, right? And that'll affect the console war in general. You have a lot of people talking about, oh, we can't stand the console war. The console war needs to go away. The only way the console war is going to go away, man, if Sony goes away. Because and I know people don't like me saying that. I'm just being honest, but they have the worst fan base, dude. Of all the three console systems, and I'll even include PC in this. I can handle Nintendo guys. I can handle PC guys, because ultimately they like their stuff. Every time you deal with a Sony guy, it just seems like they don't like their console, and because they don't like their console and they're not getting what they want, they take it out on everybody else, right? I'm pretty sure I'm not telling you anything you guys don't know. So that's the only way this stuff's going to go away. So since this stuff will not go away anytime soon, because I don't see Sony going away, because I love you, Phil, but you're not going to put that knife in there. You're not going to kill that horse for whatever reasons. I understand you talked about it, right? You look at you guys as an industry, and of course, looking at Embracer Group and all these outside factors trying to come in, I can see why you say that, because it could be something like where Apple finally gets that Apple finally does something. I mean, you already had Google try and do the Stadia, and that didn't work out really well. That's the best example I could give. Say Stadia did do well, right? And then you have people like Embracer Group and other third parties, not just them, but they seem to be the big kid on the block right now. They could actually do exclusives with somebody like Google, and Google could compete with Microsoft if they could compete, right? If their console was as good as they said it was, if things worked as well as it did, if they had the titles, if they would have set a footing in there, then you could have like those big corporate battles where money's getting tossed left and right, like you have with Netflix and Disney Plus and Paramount and all these kind of guys. Then you can really see that kind of stuff. But since Microsoft seems to be the only one that knows what they're doing, or at least the most successful with all of the streaming, it's still brand new. It's still a brand new medium. There's all kind of stuff that they got to take into consideration, which I'm sure they are. A lot of things to look at, right? But if you make Game Pass 50 million plus subscribers, right? You can't be ignored. If you make it 100 million subscribers, people are gonna have to play. And I see people talking about this online, and I'm not saying that your worries are not warranted, right? Microsoft could be that big corporation that steps in, um, though justifiably so, right? Because they're the ones putting all the work in, right? To the victor goes the spoils, man. To the guys, to the pioneers, man. They get the first pick, and that's what Microsoft is doing, man. And they took a lot of flack for this, man. This is why when you're a visionary or you're stepping out into the unknown like that, that's why you get you could fail hard, it could ruin you, right? Or you can reap like huge rewards, and that's what's happening with Microsoft right now as they continue to move up. But if they hit 100 million subscribers, it's over. It's over. Third party developers will more than likely be putting their stuff more or less day one. If not day one, then within that month, because it's all going to be tied to sales. And if there's 100 million subscribers, and I would say even maybe a percentage, like 10% of those subscribers are actually um, engaging in Game Pass on a regular basis, like how people do with Netflix, and you know, and with all the Netflix stuff going on, I'll do a separate video about that because I got to talk about that as well. Because and the reason I want to talk about it is because people are starting to tie it in with Xbox and Game Pass, and look, Netflix is having a hard time right now. That's for sure. And people compare Game Pass to Netflix, which is fair. But since Netflix is having a hard time, right? It's interesting to see how people are saying Game Pass is going to fail, and it's not a total one for one. And I've always said that even though I compare it to Game Pass to Netflix, there's differences, right? Number one, they occupy the same medium, but they're different genres in a sense, right? You can have a different experience watching a 2 hour movie or binge watching a television series and or playing a game, whether that game is a AAA title or indie title. Like right now I'm playing Wild at Heart. Absolutely love that game. Definitely gonna pick it up, right? But it depends on the experience, and then there's a lot of other factors to look at, which I'll talk about in detail on that before I get off the topic. But yeah, I think Game Pass is what Microsoft, and I believe they're pushing that all in the right directions. It's unfair, man. I wish they could get that Activision deal would happen a lot faster. Because looking again, if you guys get a chance, go look at the Embracer Group online, man, and you can see what I'm talking about. Man. They are like their own empire, right? They. I mean, it's funny because they remind me of their European company. In fact, this guy Lars Wingefors, he's actually, I believe, he's from Norway. He's from one of Norwegian countries. And you can tell, man, this dude's an entrepreneur. I was reading his background. It's amazing, man. This guy was flipping games when he was in high school. And then I think like within his first, he was doing that. That's one of the first things he started doing. And then by the time he was in, like, was he like in 10th grade or something like that? This dude was already making millions of dollars that he dropped out of school. Very entrepreneurial, right? This dude is a self-made guy. And he at one point had a gaming company. And so this guy's not, dude, he knows, man. It's just like if Disney Plus would get smart and actually hire people that knew Marvel comic books instead of the crap they're doing right now, putting out. Oh my gosh, Moon Knight sucks. So it's like that. You're dealing with people that know pop culture. I mean, from everything I've read about him, and it's not just him, man. It's the people. Like I said, they're doing exactly the same thing, and they've been doing it actually before Microsoft. If you ask me, because this company's been around for a while. And so what they do is they'll buy entities like how Microsoft bought Minecraft, but they keep everything installed there. You're just working for Microsoft. Just like people are working for Embracer Group. From the stuff that I've seen, like I said, once I do that deep dive, and then I might do a video just talking about that, especially in general. Hey, what's up, Unlimited? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just got kind of lost in. I'm looking at some of these stats and stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's I didn't really care too much about Square Enix. I don't, aside from Tomb Raider and Deus Ex is a great game, but I mean, they're not a company that I actually look at a lot. So like for example, I know people are talking about like, who should Microsoft buy next? What I always say. I say Sega. And Sega, that's just a personal thing, right? I love their games. I think they're a great company. I think they have a lot of content that would be good for Game Pass. But that's a personal thing, right? That's my own bias. Second, I would say EA, and the only reason I say EA is because they have some top tier titles, right? One of them being Madden. Madden's like Call of Duty, right? People talk trash about it every year, but guess it shows up in that top 10 every year, right? And FIFA, because FIFA has such a worldwide appeal. And that's more of me looking at it analytically, right? Because I want them to grow Game Pass, dude. That's my whole focus, right? And then that's why I was looking at Embracer. I got interested in the Square Enix thing because I saw Embracer Group, who I knew about, but I didn't know as much as I know a lot more now. But there's even a lot more that you can go into, man. They're you want to hear something ironic, dude? It's like they're at the level of how I wanted Xbox to be when Xbox One was announced in 2013. The all-in-one box. When they were talking about the all-in-one box, I'm not saying this is what Microsoft wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do because at the time, dude, I read comic books, I watch anime. I was doing all of this kind of stuff back in 20. Well, maybe not so much anime. Anime kind of I was off and on, but I do consume a lot of pop culture stuff. And when Xbox was talking about like doing productions, right? They did that ET documentary that was good. They did some of the stuff with the Bangaroo stuff, which I thought was alright. I didn't really care for. But they were supposed to create shows. They had studios in Hollywood, right? So to me, they were transitioning over. It's like everything Microsoft does. They see the future, right? They see where things are headed. But sometimes when they're on their path to get there, it doesn't work out the way. They're good at looking at things and having good ideas and stuff like that. But it's in the execution. I'm pretty sure we're confident enough, Microsoft and Xbox guys, to admit that. But it's in the execution where they fall through. And sometimes they hit it. Like I said, some of the stuff they've done throughout their history has been huge. Sometimes they miss. And yeah, when I was reading them, I was like, wow, that's interesting because they own comic book companies, they own media companies, they own, of course, the gaming space and stuff like that. Like I didn't know that they owned. I can't think of it. Man, I just went blank on the name. But Gearbox. Yeah, I didn't know they owned Gearbox, which is interesting because I just bought. My daughter loves Tiny Tina because it has Tiny Tina's Wonderland because it has an RPG element to it, which my daughter's into right now. But she loves Borderlands too, so it's like chocolate and peanut butter for her. And I bought the game and I played it, man. I played it, and I thought it was awesome. But I had no idea that Gearbox was owned by Embracer Group. So it's that same model. Microsoft comes in, gets the people, um, you know, comes under their umbrella and tries to keep everything as good as possible to make sure that the content is strong, which is important for Game Pass, man. If you look at what happened to Netflix, one of the problems Netflix is having, just really quickly, is their content issue, right? Whether it's quality control, kind of getting away to what made them popular, like they're kind of forgetting themselves, and then on top of that, man, doing stuff that people absolutely do not like, getting political, the whole nine, all of that stuff. For me, it's like they just need to get back to basics. And Embracer Group definitely looks like a company. Like money is, of course, money. They have their investors and stuff like that. But if somebody's focusing on the money, right, then initially they're going to look at what's going to make the money, and that's the content, and that's the quality of the content. Again, which Netflix is forgetting about, and something that Microsoft, I think they're doing a good job as well. Now, again, we got to wait for their AAA party titles to come out, but to me, they're hitting on all cylinders. It's one of the reasons why I don't do videos too, man, because I'm playing Game Pass. And I'm playing Game Pass the way that I like to play Game Pass, or the way I play my games, man. I'm not just there to finish a game or end the game. I play a game that I enjoy playing. Where Game Pass delivers for me is just the sheer variety of their games. It is the variety of their games is just astounding. And again, I'll say this again: it's not a bargain bin type of deal. Sure, not every game's gonna you're gonna like. It might be not your cup of tea, or maybe not the genre you like. Um, but doesn't mean that those games are bad, man. It's not like going to, like I said before, I'll use this example again, going to Babbage's and you know, paying for a game that you know is probably trash, and you get home and China's like, okay, it's trash, but it only costs $2. That's not it. That's not Game Pass. That's what people keep on missing about Game Pass. There's something in there for everybody, and once somebody finds something that they like, or they can find multiple things that they like, that's how they get. That's how they get them. I'll probably do a video revisiting Game Pass because it needs to be. I need to do something about that, or I need to talk about that. It's interesting that, especially with all the economy stuff going on right now. I think Game Pass is actually popular enough to affect other streaming services because people tend to forget um, that even though Netflix and Game Pass are not exactly alike, they do occupy the same space, right? So I'm pretty sure there's people that are like us that are looking at something now, especially with money being tight, man. Like I gotta go put gas in my car today. I just put gas like a week ago. Before I could go like almost a week and a half, but now, man, I just put like $40 in my car. I rather get not 40, yeah, but yeah, no 30, about 30. I used to get away with like 20. I have a CRV, and I live in I live in Hawaii, so it's I don't drive out really far distances. Traffic can be bad, but with the pandemic, traffic was kind of light. But anyway, so now I'm doing like I'm filling up prices. I'm filling up twice a week instead of once a week. So that's like $40, 40, 44 depends on where I put gas too, but it does fluctuate. But that's the decisions people are making, man. They're looking at their monthly bills, man, and they're realizing that, hey, you got to cut back here and there, and then what do you want to keep? And I would put Game Pass up there. Um, I would put Game Pass up there as something that somebody's really seriously thinking about. Now, I'm not going to speculate on, well, not in this video anyway, about 14.99 versus a 9.99 plan, but Netflix and some of these other streaming services are going up, right? So when Netflix for me costs like 19.99 because I get the 4K bundle, I could go cheaper, and I might. But I like the 4K, right? Because of the way my televisions are, man. And then sometimes I watch it on my Series X, so I got that going for me. Um, but it is something that I think that's affecting, as anything else with people's money, man. It does have it does have an effect. So, oh yeah, I'll have to revisit that. I'll have to talk about Game Pass in those terms, because it is changing the game. Definitely changing the game. Um, Now, what, we're 25 million is the last thing. So if we're at 30, 35 million, I've drawn back my expectations just because of the way things are, right? The economy and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'll talk about that in a separate video. But yeah, dude, if you guys are out there and you guys are wondering who Embracer Group is, man, I definitely will go check them out. Just Google them. They put all their stuff out there too, which is good. It's something that I like. Again, I don't know all the machinations of what goes on behind the scenes, right? Look at Microsoft trying to purchase Activision. There's all kind of stuff being said, and ultimately that'll go through. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. And that's another thing with Embracer Group doing all these kind of things. It benefits us because now you can stand there, because everybody out there, right? Everybody's a financial analyst. And when I say that, man, I don't mind. Look, I don't think you need a financial degree if you're going to give your opinion. Now, if you're going to swear by it, and you want to put yourself out there as an expert, then yeah, of course you got to bring your receipts. That's a given. But if you're just speculating, and basically just giving your opinion is what everybody does, then that's fine, right? But if you just want to do a little quick drive by and look at who Embracer Group is, like I said, all their stuff's out there. They don't seem to be a company that hides anything. They kind of put their sims out there like that because they want people to see who they are, man, and for good reason, man. This dude is impressive, man. And again, I just did a brief research on this guy, Lars Swinger first, and he's an impressive dude, man. I'm not saying he's Elon Musk, on that level, but anybody who's an entrepreneur, man, anybody who puts himself out there, man, gets a little bit of respect from me. And then, and I just say little because, like I said, I haven't done a deep dive on him, but yeah, impressive guy, man, impressive company. But yeah, check them out, man. Just like I said, just Google them online, get familiar with who they are, because you're probably playing their games if this continues, right? So again, for me as an Xbox dude, I choose to look at the positive as opposed to the negative, because I don't, it's just too early to look at the negative right now. And if anything, as we get closer and things start to kind of fill out a little bit more, right? Then we can look at that then, right? But like for me, I've been saying, like, I want them to be 50 million subscribers for Xbox Game Pass. I want them to be 100, and then you have people saying, well, Microsoft had too much power, too much stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, understand, man, and then I'll stand with you. If they get abusive, I'll be right there on the front lines with you. But I just want to get there first. Let's get there first and see what happens. Okay, let's at least get to that part. Not jumping too far ahead. Because given Phil Spencer and the crew they got over there, and their goals and their ideals and stuff like that, which I don't agree with a lot. I mean, I'm definitely not politically aligned with most of these people. But business wise and what they give me as a gamer and stuff like that, definitely. And if they're going to be able to maintain that fine line, right, which is again another reason why I'm kind of impressed with Embracer Group, because looking at their brief history of how they're doing business, it looks pretty G. So yeah, again, if stuff changes, we'll deal with it then. But yeah, just for me, as far as Xbox is concerned, just gotta seal up that Activision deal. I'm pretty sure Phil them are looking at other people after reading about Embracer, and I already know Tencent, dude. I don't even Tencent. That's a whole other ballgame too. But seeing how things are changing and stuff like that, yeah, I definitely know that Phil Spencer them's not done. That's why Satya said we're not done picking up companies yet. Tell you, man, it's all about content. It's always that way. It's always about content. Straight up. That's the most important thing to streaming. The streaming company is what content. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it with that, dude. Hopefully you guys like the video. Sorry I couldn't put it in the format because I actually wanted to showcase some stuff. But I had to use StreamYard, which I have no problem with, right? So this is basically almost like a podcast as opposed to the way I wanted to do it. Man, I gotta get on my, I gotta get some software. I gotta get some editing stuff and get on the ball with this because it is interesting, man. I mean, like I said, and the reason why I do that is we're on the precipice of a big change, and Microsoft is riding that wave right now, and we're all on board. And as an Xbox guy, it's really fun. So anyway, all in channel, man. Hey, Unlimited, thanks for stopping by, dude. Sorry, I didn't notice the the comment section because I was just quickly broadcasting. I didn't really mean for the video to last this long either, but it is what it is, brother. But keep up the good work, man. I loved you and Hebot's the podcast you did, man. Unlimited Truth. That was awesome. You guys gave me some excellent points. In fact, you guys were the ones that inspired me to do this video. I've been wanting to do videos, but after listening to you guys, I was like, yeah, I gotta put my 2 cents out there as well. So anyway, all in channel, host Sega forever. And that's the All In channel on YouTube, of course. If you want to hit me up on Xbox Live, I'm actually playing more games that are multiplayer, but I'm also playing a lot of the indie games, man. Like I said, I'm playing Wild at Heart. I got addicted to that. You know what game I got addicted to? Hey, what's up? Yeah, dude. Sorry. Hey, Mr. Kima. Yeah, yeah, dude. I live in Hawaii, man. We have chickens all over the place and roosters. They had a hurricane here like a decade ago, and then now we have wild chickens and roosters all over the place. It's crazy, which is cool, man. I don't mind, man. It's a little bit country, and I live near the city, but yeah, I'll take it. You get used to it after a while, dude. And if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, at least you have a food supply. So, but yeah, dude, it's a crazy time, man, and I just want to be, you know, I'm excited about it. But yeah, so the game I'm playing right now, I can't believe it is Cobra Kai. I know Hebot did a video on it. I love the show on Netflix. It's one of my favorite shows. Actually, it is my most favorite shows on Netflix. Um, but I'll be honest with you, man. It's a licensed game. They wanted $39.99 for it. I was like, no, absolutely not, dude. I'm not gonna pay that much. So then it was on sale for $9.99. I'm pretty sure it'll be on Game Pass eventually. So I took the dive just because I like the property. So what I thought it was going to be is I like the story, and I was hoping that they would expand the story from the TV show in the game, and so you get to I knew that some of the voice actors and stuff like that were coming back, so I thought, yeah, maybe I'll enjoy the story. The gameplay will probably be okay, but it was kind of the opposite. I mean, I have no problem with the story there. It's not as good as the show, definitely, right? So I thought that was going to be the big draw, but it wasn't. I actually enjoyed the gameplay because there's a level up system in there that's not overly complicated, and then there's stuff from the show, of course, that they have in the game. But it's actually the gameplay, man, that's got me hooked, dude. I love side scrolling beat 'em ups, man. That's what I grew up on, and basically like Streets of Rage. I thought I bought that Streets of Rage 4, the new one. I thought I bought it, but I didn't. So I ended up picking that up. I felt kind of bad because I should have paid full price for that because I love that game. But those kind of games are like Double Dragon, of course. So um, that's what Cobra Kai reminds me of. I wish the combo system was a little bit better. The switching out your characters, leveling them up, and the level up system is what's got me hooked, right? Because I want to get all my stuff leveled up and everything. And then, of course, as the story unfolds. But if you like side scrollers and stuff like that, that old school type of stuff, yeah, that's definitely. I would recommend you get that game. It's only $9.99 right now in the store, so definitely get it. I wouldn't pay $39.99 for it. And there's also a ton of games that I'm just playing on Game Pass that I absolutely love, and it takes up time. Man. I played The Last Stop. That game is, Annapurna, man. I can't believe how well they do with their games. I believe they did 12 minutes, right? That game is awesome. I mean, it's definitely like people will say it's not a AAA game, like a double A game, or they'll use the moniker of indie game. But I tell you, man, their stuff that they're putting on definitely hits way above their pay grade, and I've been enjoying like those two games alone. Like I'm gonna buy both of them. 12 minutes I kind of fell off of because of the way it is with Game Pass. And that's why I feel bad, man, because it's not really Game Pass, it's me because of the way my schedule is and stuff I got to do. Um, but man, if I was younger, man, I would have loved Game Pass back in the day. I'll be playing so many games. but I just don't have the time. So I literally have to like budget my time and actually, like I made time to do this video. I got to go to the gym, and by gym I mean downstairs. I actually got my dumbbell sets in, which was actually pretty cool. I'm gonna use those. Saves me some time that way. And make sure my kids get something to eat. Then I'll be playing Wild at Heart. That's what I'll be doing the rest of the night, or I plan to do unless something else comes up. But yeah, Mr. Kima, man, thanks for dropping by. Unlimited, thanks for dropping by. Sorry about the way the video format and stuff like that is, but I just had to put that out there, man. And again, I highly recommend you guys do your research on stuff, man. Just don't, if you care, or like if you don't care and you trust the source and the people that you get your information from. But I think it'd be worth your while to just skim through who these guys are. I think you guys have a little bit more appreciation for what they do, and also get a little bit of insight in the direction that our industry is going. And by our industry, I mean that as a gamer, not as a insider or one of these dudes that promote themselves on YouTube. Like, okay, I know what's going on and all that kind of crap. I'm definitely not that. I am just a cog in the machine. Happy to be that way because as a cog in the machine, I don't have to do as much. I can spend time doing what I like to do, which is playing a Game Pass. Anyway, all in channel, man. Thank you guys for you guys stopping by, and yeah, I'll do more videos and I'll put it up there. And yep, we out.